This meeting of the Starkville Board of Aldermen is now in order. Please rise for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance, after which Alderman Vaughn would like to open us in a word of prayer, and we will observe a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Our God and our Father, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. God, Father God, again, here's a few of your handmaid servants that you allowed your angels to watch over all day long, protecting us from all hurt, harm, and danger. We just want to say thank you. And most of all, we want to thank you for our big brother, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. The only begotten beloved Son that was born of a Virgin Mary. Joseph was his earthly father, who you allowed to be crucified, died, and buried. But in 3 days, you raised him from the dead. He sit at the right hand of you, making intercession for us. Father, we want to thank you for Jesus. But God, now we ask you, first of all, to please forgive us of all our sins. That's known and unknown, seen and unseen. Blot out our transgression. Father God, we just thank you for this privilege that you have given us all to serve for this city. But most of all, to serve for you, because we are servants of yours. We pray now that you will bless each and every last one of them, individually, collectively, and by one, that we all be mindful of the decision that each one of us make. But Lord, we only pray for this mayor, this board, and the department head. We ask you that you will fill this place with your Holy Spirit, that we will conduct ourselves decent and in order. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you. We ask this, you call James 4 and 2 say, we have not because we ask not. Father God, we ask it in the name of Jesus, that you would take the reins of our minds and you would take our heart. You will take our heart and place to every decision that we make. And Father God, we'll be careful to give you the honor, the praise, and the glory. We thank you now. We're down at our 5 more meetings to go. We thank you for how far you have brought it. We thank you for all that you have allowed this man board to achieve. We just thank you so much. We can't give you enough thanks and praises for what you have done, but not only that, but what you're going to do. Father God, we thank you, we praise you, we honor you, we glorify you, we magnify your name, only because of who you are and where you are. Father, it's in Jesus' name that we do pray. Amen. Amen.
All right, you have before you a copy of the written agenda. There is one item that is a late addition, and that's because the event that shocked the world had not happened yet when we put this agenda together. And that is a proposed celebration to be held in downtown Starkville and at City Hall for the MSU women's basketball team. Without objection, that item's been added provisionally to the agenda. Without objection, we'll add it to the regular agenda. Seeing no objection, that item's been added as item A under mayor's business. Are there any proposed revisions to the agenda from the members of the board? Alderman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm requesting that 2 items be removed. They are item number 10D on page 3 and item 14A on page 6.
All right, item 10D on page 3, the consideration of the advanced collision repair sidewalk variance request. Proposed revision by Alderman Nguyen is to remove that item from the agenda. Alderman Nguyen, is that the proposed revision?
It is.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Seeing none.
Mayor, is this something, first I've heard, is there a reason, or is it?
The city attorney has advised that that matter needs to go to the Board of Adjustment Appeals before it comes to the Board of Aldermen.
Thank you.
Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that item has been removed from the agenda. And your second item, Alderman Nguyen, was?
Item 14A, page 6.
Item 14A, a personnel matter under executive session. Alderman Nguyen has proposed item on the agenda to remove a personnel matter under executive session. Alderman Nguyen, is that proposed?
It is.
Do I hear any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Any objection? Seeing none, that matter's been removed from the agenda. Alderman Nguyen, do you have further proposed?
No, and I yield the floor at this
Any
time.
further proposed revisions from the members of the board? Any further proposed revisions? Any further proposed revisions? Seeing none, motion to approve the agenda as revised is in order.
Say move.
Motion has been made by Alderman Carter to approve the agenda as revised. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The The first matter you have before you is consideration of the minutes from the March 7, 2017 meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen.
Move approval.
Motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of the minutes of the March 7, 2017 meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen of the City of Starkville, Mississippi, incorporating any and all changes recommended by the city attorney, otherwise as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the minutes?
No, sir.
Any discussion, seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. We'll now move to announcements and comments by the mayor and members of the board. I have no comments this evening. Are there any comments by the members of the board? Alderman Perkins.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, thank you very much, and to my distinguished colleagues and to all of you who are here this evening. Very rare for me to take this portion of the agenda to give a special recognition, but I think that it is worth my time and worth all of our times for me to say what I'm about to say. Mr. Peters, it is my understanding, and if I'm correct, I want you to come down, don't come yet. If I'm correct on this information, it is my understanding that you have received a special recognition, award, and or honor from our distinguished First Lady of this great state of Mississippi about your Parks and Recreation Department. Is the Vice Mayor correct with his information?
Yes, sir.
Well, with that being said, would you come down for just a moment? You know, I've been here for a long time, and you know, I stay apprised and attuned to all of the information, and it is always an exemplary honor for any person, official, citizen, or anyone within our corporate limits to be given a special recognition for your unique acts and deeds. And what makes it so particularly important here is because you are a representative and an employee of our great city. So, Mr. Peters, as I get ready to yield this to you, I would like for you to apprise the mayor, and he may already know, but I learned about it unofficially, but I would like for you to just take your time this evening and give us all of the details, the information. If you have some letter or award or some writing from our honorable First Lady of this great state, Miss Phil Bryan, then I want you to read that. I want to hear every word. You know, the lawyers like to hear words, so I want you to take your time. Don't read over it. Just take your time so I can understand everything clearly. And just tell us about what you have this evening, Mr. Peters. The floor is yielded to you. The mayor recognized me, so I'm going to yield it to you.
To the Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board, Alderman. This came in the mail. I'm like, it's a letter, and it said, in recognition of your service to the people of Mississippi, we are pleased to present you with a certificate of appreciation from the First Lady, Deborah Bryant, and the Volunteer Mississippi. Thank you for caring service to others. Your appreciation by those you serve and those you inspire through your kindness and service and appreciation. Executive Interim Director Monica Ritchie, Volunteer Officer, and signed by First Lady Bryant.
Okay, and when did you get that in the mail?
On the 15th.
And they're giving special recognition to your department for those acts and deeds you just alluded to.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Peters, I'm just going to speak for myself, but hopefully all of the colleagues concur. But I just want to, of course, we recognize all our employees for all their acts and deeds, but you know, to get that from the First Lady, and we're striving to have the best and the top Parks and Recreation Department in this great state of Mississippi, and for the First Lady, as busy as she is, to take the time and pen a letter to you and tell us about your parks and our Parks and Recreation Department. It is so incumbent upon the Vice Mayor and this board, along with the mayor and all the citizens, to take the time to hear what she has to say. So Starkville is on her mind. And so I just want to just add on, and I like to hear all this. I'm always challenging employees to give their best. So you continue to give your best. We know we're going to continue to get more awards, more recognitions. Next time we're going to be from the honorable governor. I mean, that's great. So I know you're proud of it, Mr.
Yes,
Peters.
sir.
You got to feel it now. I mean, that's great. You know, I'm feeling it. I know you are.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and but that's very good. I wanted to take this time to recognize you, Mr. Peters.
Thank you.
Continue to do the great work. Continue to deal with the challenges. Continue to confront them.
Yes, sir.
You know, when things get tough, you stand tough.
Yes, sir.
And that award shows that you're doing that. You are letting the light shine.
Thank you.
It's a beacon of light that's shining from the parks and recreation all the way across this great city and throughout the county, and it's shining so good and so far because you're doing good, and that light is shining all the way down to Hinds County, Mississippi. And we appreciate that. We are proud of that. You keep up the work,
Yes, sir.
even when the vice mayor is long gone. If when you're still here,
Yes, sir.
you keep working hard. You keep fighting hard, and you keep doing your best for this great city. And we just want to say thank you here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you and thank you, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Job well done, Mr. Peters. Vice Mayor, do you yield the floor?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much. I yield, Mr. Mayor. Thank you so much.
Alderman Nguyen, then Alderman Carter.
Okay. Mrs. Gandy, will you please come on down? Good evening to you, Miss Gandy. I want to say thank you so much for last week. You called to inform us that the landfill has reopened. If you will, just for public consumption, will you please tell them about that? It's spring cleaning time, and I think that they're ready and glad for that is open. Will you please speak to that?
Okay, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, and remaining board members. The landfill is open. We opened last week. We were delayed from the original date because of rain, but we have opened. We are back to our regular business hours and just back to business as usual. We are still in the process, as you know, of our permitting process, so that we still are working with the consultant to get that completed. But DEQ has sent out a letter stating that we are to continue operation and continue to move forward with everything as recommended by them for our permitting process.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Gandy.
I was going to ask one question.
Okay.
What are the hours of the landfill for public knowledge?
We're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 4, and then Saturday, 8 to 12.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Gandy. Okay. Chief,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
Chief Nichols, if you will you please come forward? Got two statements I want to make to you, and then I'm going to ask you about something. First of all, I want to give a big shout out to Officer Quinn Salisbury. In my ward about a week ago, one of my constituents called me and told me that she had received this little orange card on her car. And I explained to her, that's when our officers in the neighborhood and nothing may be wrong, just observing and keeping a vigilant eye on things. So I want to say thank you so much to Officer Quinn Salisbury and let him know that I thank him for the work that he does in his service to our city. Then the next one, I want to say we wish Captain Ballard the absolute best. I got a chance to meet with him last week and say goodbye to him, and understand that he left Saturday for Virginia to attend the FBI Academy.
Yes, ma'am.
Please let him know that he's in our hearts and prayers.
Will do.
Okay? And then I want you to tell us about Detective Durr receiving some type of certification or something, I understand?
No, he received a state award
Okay.
from the Mississippi Attorney General's office. April 2nd through the 8th is National Victimization Week. And they recognize Detective Durr, Sergeant Durr, for his works out of all the agencies in the state of Mississippi. They called me and explained to me how anytime they call him, he goes above and beyond.
Okay.
Even on his days off, and even when they made mention of he's out with his last baby, he's on baby leave, he still got them the necessary paperwork they needed so they can accommodate the victim. So they awarded him the Distinguished Service Award.
Okay. Thank you so much, Chief, and tell him congratulations.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? And the last person that I want to come forward is Miss Vicki Hampton tonight, and after this, I'll be yielding the floor. Miss Vicki Hampton, will you please come forward? You're here with us this evening. Surprise. Miss Hampton, on Thursday, March 23rd, when you were driving in, I contacted you on the telephone because I noticed that there was an error in the Starkville Daily newspaper, just an error on our city's behalf. And it was a public notice advertising for a board member for the Starkville Housing Authority. I called you out of concern because I serve as the city's liaison, so I know that no one was getting off of the board or had tendered a resignation, and I asked you to check on that. I want to say thank you so much for your leadership on that. You contacted Starkville Daily News and asked that they remove that for us, and I certainly want to thank their personnel for doing that. And additionally, you went there and made sure that all of our boards and commissions were updated on the city's website. I want to say thank you so much for your leadership on that. Thank you so much. Okay, Mayor, I yield the floor.
Alderman Carter.
I said on a side note, I guess William Durr's wife, Lynn Sheridan Durr, got Woman of the Year today, so that was just a good thing for that couple. My comments for the night were this: we had a forum last night, and we have another one coming up Thursday night, 6:30 at the Sportsplex. This will be citywide for all the candidates. Last night, of all the compliments I got today, most of the compliments were that all candidates were cordial. We got to the issues, discussed the issues, and I think everybody across the board that's running this year wants to progress Starkville, wants to grow Starkville, and wants to see us have a prosperous next 4 years. So thank you. There will be another forum Thursday night, 6:30 at the Sportsplex. Thank you.
Any further comments by the members of the board? Any further comments? Any further comments? Seeing none, we'll move to citizen comments. At this time, any citizen wishing to make comments may do so by coming forward, introducing yourself, and you'll be recognized to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes.
Good evening to the mayor and board. My name is Alvin Turner, Ward 7. To Vice Mayor Perkins, Alderman Vaughn,
Thank you, Alvin.
and Alderman Walker.
Thank you, Howard.
Citizens, they have a problem with Washington Street and 182. They asked me to ask that a arrow be put in the traffic light for a left turn. They're having a hard time getting off Washington Street because they don't have a left arrow turn. They wanted me to bring that to your attention. Also read in the paper and thought about it. Sometimes issues can get too sensitive, and we don't want to run our department heads or our employees off by being too strict, too sensitive. Let us be a little easy, because they have to go 24/7 while we sleep. We don't want to make them feel like that they are not appreciated. And also that continue to pray for the family, Turner family. We 9 months in, we have come a long way, but we yet got a long way to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to recognize.
You may.
Mr. Kemp, is not a turn signal of coming off of Washington Street to 182. I can't remember. I know it's not one at the library, but they're coming off the library, but 182 is there's a turn signal coming off of that 182 to get on off of Washington Street to get on 182.
I don't think there's a turn signal for that. Depends on if you've got traffic on that. There is one coming from Washington Street going north, so it's delayed to allow that traffic to occur, and then that going north back to the south, that one is delayed. Although it has become to provide turning possibilities for both. And of course, 182 is the primary driver down there.
Okay, thank you. I'll throw off so that would.
Further citizen comments?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Vice Mayor, Councilman. I am Candace Faith Bolden, the acting reporter for the Starkville Mayor Youth Council. And I would just like for members from the council to stand, please. I just want to personally say thank you so very much for allowing me to be part of this program. It has taught me so much about city policy, about leadership. This is my senior year. A couple weeks from now, I'll be graduating from Starkville Christian School and moving on. So I just want to thank you all for giving us the opportunity to set community service projects and being able to work on them and learn about what it truly means to be a catalyst in the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bolden. I think we should make you our spokesperson for the benefits of the Mayor's Youth Cabinet. Are there any further citizen comments? Any further citizens' comments? Any further citizen comments? Seeing none, there are no public appearances tonight. We have two public hearings scheduled. The first is a public hearing on VA 1706. Mr. Sanders, would you like to introduce the matter?
VA 1706 is a request by Camp Brothers Real Estate LLC for a variance from the existing lot dimensions, existing lot size, side setback requirements for proposed addition at 413 Mesquite Street in an R2 zone. The applicant is requesting relief from three requirements. The first two are existing conditions. The third is a modification of an existing condition. It's minimum lot size, minimum lot width and frontage line, minimum side yard. The applicant are requesting a variance from the minimum side yard of 7.5 feet to 4.5 feet in order to construct an addition in the footprint of an existing carport. The picture in the top left is the existing carport that's on the side, and it currently violates the setback by about approximately 3 feet, as you can see on the plan view on the right. And the illustration at the bottom is showing what they would like to remove the carport and just add an addition in the same footprint of the carport structure. 36 property owners of record within 300 feet of the subject property were notified directly by mail of this request. A public hearing notice was published in Starkville Daily News on February 28, 2017. The placard was posted on the property concurrent with the publication of the notice. As of this date, the planning office received one phone call inquiring about this request. On March 22nd, 2017, the Board of Adjustment Appeals voted 4-0 in favor of recommending the approval.
Questions or comments by the members of the board? Any questions or comments from the members of the Board of Aldermen? Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move into the public comment portion of the public hearing. At this time, anyone wishing to make a comment may do so by coming forward, introducing yourself, and you'll be recognized to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Is there anyone now wishing to make a comment? Anyone now wishing to make a comment? Anyone now wishing to make a comment? Seeing no comment, are there any concluding comments from the members of the board? Any concluding comments from the members of the board? Seeing none, that will conclude this public hearing on VA 1706. Next matter before you is a public hearing of RZ 1704. Mr. Sanders, would you like to introduce?
This is a request by Saunders Ramsey on behalf of Mark and Lisa Castleberry to rezone one lot located at 114 Mill Street. The applicant is seeking to rezone from R2 to T4 based on a change in conditions in the area and accord with the public need for orderly and harmonious growth. The property to the north is zoned R2 and is a residential neighborhood. The property to the east is zoned T6 and is currently a parking garage. The property to the south is zoned C2 and is currently a condominium. The property to the west is zoned R3 and is currently a residential neighborhood. 58 property owners of record within 300 feet of the subject property were notified directly by mail of this request. A public hearing notice was published in the Starkville Daily News on March 17, 2017, and a sign was posted on the property concurrent with publication of the notice. As of this date, the planning office has received 4 phone calls inquiring about the request. On March 14, 2017, the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 5-0 to recommend approval of this request. On December 20th, 2016, the Board of Aldermen adopted the 2016 Comprehensive Plan. This plan has the property classified as a traditional neighborhood existing, which meet RT4 district regulations. A rezoning can only take place if one of the following conditions prevail: there's no error or change in conditions. On January 12th, 2012, the Board of Aldermen adopted form-based code for Mississippi Highway 182, Main Street, University Drive, Lampkin Street, and Russell Street. As a result, 84 parcels were rezoned to either T District or Civic District. The subject property is adjacent to T6 District parcel to the east. On March 15th, 2016, one parcel on Hartnett Street was rezoned from R3 to T5. On August 8th, 2016, one parcel at the corner of University and North Montgomery was rezoned from C2 to T5. On January 1st, 2017, one parcel at Jarnigan Street was rezoned from R5 to T4.
Are there any questions or comments from the members of the board? Alderman
Yes,
Paul.
ma'am. Mr. Buddy Sanders.
Yes, sir.
On these 2 public hearings, is there any particular reason that we got to vote on tonight? Normally, we wouldn't just do this. Any particular reason why you putting both of them on here tonight, and then we turn right back around and vote on?
Because the public hearing, which we're having right now, is, what I understand, has always been on the agenda, and then at the later, on the agenda is for the board to make a decision. At this point in time, this is for the public comment. At the second floor, under planning business, that's going to be able to.
Normally, we don't always handle this like that. Normally, it doesn't always handle this like this. We have a public hearing, and then we'll vote probably the next time or whenever. But I see you got them here tonight, and then we're gonna vote on them tonight. We're gonna take them up tonight. So that's what my question.
Yes, sir. The rezoning and the conditional use requires a public hearing, and that is what we're doing at this moment in time.
Any further questions or comments by the members of the board? Alderman Walker.
You said you received 4 inquiries about this. What were those inquiries?
They all came from residents of the condo association to the south of the property, and they wanted to know what the owners of the property were planning to do. And they've indicated that they're planning to build a single-family residence, which we communicated to them, and they didn't have any objections to that.
Thank you.
Any further questions or comments by the members of the board? The city attorney is asked to be recognized.
Mr. Haviland or Ms. Corbin, you guys have listed 4 bullet points of potential change based on rezonings, quote unquote, in the neighborhood. Can you show on Google Map the board where those are in relation to the subject property so they can make a determination of that neighborhood?
Just to orient you to the property, it sits right here. That's the parking garage that's recently built. The one that was January 1st, 2017 at Jarnigan Street is located right here to the north. The one at University in North Montgomery is right here. And the one on Hartnett Street is right here. So as far as within the neighborhood, the furthest one in miles, as a crow flies, would be 0.68 miles from the subject property.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I recognize?
You may.
Let me go back to that question. The city attorney asked you the neighborhood. Let me make sure I get that right. This property's on McKee Street, right?
It's
No.
on Mill.
Oh, no, I'm talking the subject property.
It's on Mill Street, right?
Mill Street, okay, all right.
Right.
This is not the McKee, okay. Okay, I was thinking still have McKee in my mind. I was just fixing to question you about the neighborhood.
That would be a.
Yeah, I can
we'll do
understand.
it. I yield, Mayor.
Any further questions or comments by the members of the board? Any further questions or comments? Any further questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll move to the public comment portion of the public hearing. At this time, are there any, if there are any public comments, please do so. Please make your comments by coming forward, introducing yourself, and you'll be recognized to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes. Any public comments? Any public comments? Any public comments? Seeing none, are there any concluding comments by the members of the board? Are there any concluding?
Mayor, one last thing. Mr. Having, I guess, the Jernigan, that's that 35 Jernigan that I think the board did sometime the latter part of the last year or this year.
Correct.
That kind of bolster your case for this rezoning there.
Correct.
Yes, sir. It went to the
It's at
T4.
the intersection of Jargon.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yield.
Are there any city attorneys asked to be recognized?
Mr. Mayor, since nobody spoke up in the hearing, staff, what's the evidence of public need?
I guess that question would probably be better addressed to the applicant, but the property prior to the house being torn down was a single-family residence, and they're replacing it with a single-family residence.
And it is a rapidly redeveloping part of the community. This certainly should serve as a catalyst for further redevelopment. Any further concluding comments by the members of the board? Any further concluding comments by the members of the board? Any further concluding comments? Seeing none, that will conclude this public hearing on RZ 1704. The next matter before you is the discussion and consideration of having a ceremony of appreciation for the Mississippi State University women.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Walker to approve having a ceremony of appreciation for the Mississippi State University women's basketball team for a wonderful season, Friday, April 7th, 2017, at the City Hall Plaza at 4:30 p.m. as presented. Alderman Walker, is that your motion?
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Walker, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, I just hope everybody gets a chance to show up. They certainly deserve our appreciation.
Alderman Carver.
Yeah, I was going to ask, just from a marketing and an advertisement standpoint, being the Cotton District Arts Festival, is there any way that we can incorporate the MSU cheerleaders, or is this something that's already in the works? Or
The partnership staff is working alongside the Mississippi State University Athletic Department staff to coordinate the details of the event. I don't think those have been finalized yet, so I can't tell you exactly what will be there and what won't be there.
thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may we recognize?
You may.
Mr. Mayor, we certainly always appreciate your representing the city and giving proclamations and resolutions on behalf of the city, but given the magnitude of this event, award recognition and ceremony, I am respectfully requesting for you in drafting that resolution to ensure, and not say you're not going to do that, that it includes this Mayor and Honorable Board of Aldermen, since we want to show that that we are a city family presenting this to you. And of course, I think that in the words and the wisdom behind this, we just want to show that we, the city, want to recognize this this national caliber basketball team for their exemplary. I want to go a step further than wonderful. They're exemplary. Anytime you beat DePaul, Washington, Baylor, and UConn, I think exemplary, that's kind of coming short on exemplary. So, but if we can get us a resolution where, I mean, and you do a great job, but I think if you don't mind getting the wording, just incorporate, so when it shows the mayor and the board, it's a city family. So I think I said enough, but if we can get the wording to do that, and we appreciate your putting this together, Mayor. I mean, we just work together as a team. That's what makes Starkville so great. Thank you.
I can't take credit for putting it together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The staff at the partnership has done an excellent job coordinating with the athletic department. And I will tell you this, I don't know for sure what the details of the program will be.
Yes, sir.
And since I don't know that, I don't know what type of recognition that I may be according. But what I can tell you is your point is well taken, and whatever recognition I end up passing along, I will make sure that it is reflected that the board is passing along that recognition as well.
And the last thing I want to say, but and the reason I said that, I guess as an attorney, I'm always prepared when I go to court. So if it does allow that type of recognition, you already have it ready for presentment. And it may or may not, but I thought this was important enough for me to say that. But we're on the same page, and just want to thank you for your involvement on this. And we're just glad Mississippi State is in our city and county. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Saying none. All those in favor of Alderman Walker's motion, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter before you is the consideration of approval of change order number 4 in the amount of $27,942 to the police renovation contract as presented. Discussion.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Walker to approve of change order number 4 in the amount of $27,942.42 to the police renovation project contract as presented. Alderman Walker, is that your motion?
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Little. Alderman Walker, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No.
Any discussion?
Mr.
Alderman
Mayor.
Carver.
I was going to ask you, Chief, I know we've heard the percentages of where we're at in the construction phase. Are these overages? Are these something that you had budgeted and we changed, or?
No, sir, they're not overages. They're just different changes that we saw necessary. Like one of them is equipping the office so we can, some of the office so we can at some point put like TVs in them instead of having to come back and go through the wall, stuff like that.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I've got Perkins, then Wynn. Alderman Perkins.
Mr. Mayor, this is my last time seeking recognition tonight, but this is the matter that I want to ask this question. Chief, certainly I support your department. I appreciate it, and I don't normally vote for the change orders, but, we got to have this first-class police station, and I'm looking for, before you move in, I want the parking lot, I want everything. I don't want you to move in without anything uncompleted. But my question tonight is nothing anti-police, but, and of course, I just read things very carefully. I saw, and I'm voting for this, Chief, but I saw that, and you can explain this. I think I heard the mayor may can explain to one of y'all, but it's no problem. But and it's good to have the explanation now. Mr. Mayor, you may can answer this, or the chief, whichever one you can answer it. I see there's a change order about $2,629 for 3 flag poles, and I'm having the flags. We only got 2 flags up in here, so I'm wondering why we need 3 flag poles. That's my question.
Let me fill this one. This is something that the architect mentioned to me probably about a month ago, and we had a pretty in-depth conversation about this subject. And what he informed me is that this is replacing one of the historical features of the building, because at one point in time there were flag poles on each section of the building, and I still can't visualize exactly how this is going to work, but he felt very passionate about it. And he also informed me that due to the fact that the roof has been replaced with a roof that you can no longer walk on, these flag poles would not be designed to actually hold a flag, because in order to do that you would have to have a lift on the outside of the building or a really tall ladder to get a flag onto the flagpole. So they are purely both a decorative pole that won't have a flag on it and restoring the historic character of the building.
Mr. Mayor, thanks for the explanation. With that being said, I just wanted to ask now while the motion is on the floor, as long as we have the clear understanding that the 3rd flagpole is just a decorative measure, that is not to be used to hold a flag, that is helped to espouse the historical significance of the building, and with that representation, that we will not be trying to insert a 3rd flag in that flagpole. Just wanted to have a meeting of the minds. I mean, might as well be realistic about it. So If that is the intent, and and I'm gonna say one more thing. This is really plowing down the middle of what I'm finna say. As long as we not trying to come in the back door with something.
Yes, sir.
As long as we can talk straight and look each other in the eye. As long as we can do that, and Chief, this is not negative. This is
Yes,
just
sir.
good, clean, healthy, straight talk. This is good medicine here. As long as we have a good understanding, Mr. Newspaper reporter, as long as we understand that. And want everybody to understand that, because I don't want to have to be coming when our honorable mayor is gone, then somebody want to make a request for a third flag. Mr. Attorney, you hear that? You'll be here probably the next term. Mr. Attorney?
Lord willing.
You understand that?
I hear what you're saying, Vice Mayor.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, Mr. Mayor, with that being said, I'm going to vote for this. I think the record is clear. We got a videotape of this meeting. Mr. Green, I want you to save this tape here. I may need it later. And, Mr. Mayor, with that being said, I'm going to yield the floor.
Alderman Nguyen.
Chief, this is change order number 4 at over $27,000. And of course, I'm going to support it. But I think it would be wise to always ask Mr. Gary Schaefer, the architect, as much as we are paying him, and he has been paid, he should be there standing to your side in the event that there are any questions fielded from the mayor, the vice mayor, and members of this board.
Yes, ma'am.
You shouldn't have to do that. So I'm just a word of advice. Ask him that he needs to be at your side.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you can't get it done, let me know. I'll be glad to email him.
I'll take care
Thank
of
you.
it.
I yield the floor.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Alderman
I
Vaughn.
appreciate it. I'll piggyback on what Alderman Nguyen said. Every change order, he need to be here.
Yes, sir.
Requesting him being here by this board, because he need to be here.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, Chief, again, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, if you have a problem in doing that, please let me know. I'd be glad to tender him an email. I've received his email. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter before you is a consideration of the approval of the low quote from Sullivan's in the amount of $3,966 for additional security benches for holding cells for SPD. Discussion.
Move approval.
Motion has been made by Alderman Vaughn to approve of the low quote from Sullivan's in the amount of $3,966 for 4 additional security benches for holding cells for SPD as presented. Alderman Vaughn, is that your motion?
Yes, it is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Vaughn, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter before you is a consideration of the approval of the low quote from Garner Computer Services in the amount of $8,148. Discussion. Discussion.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Walker to approve of the low quote from Garner Computer Services in the amount of $8,148 for 42 Samsung 16010 IP phones for the Starkville Police Department as presented. Alderman Walker, is that your motion?
Yes.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Walker, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda is a consideration of the low quote from Tiffin Metal products in the amount of $17,761. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of the low quote from Tiffin Metal products in the amount of $17,761 for a pass-through evidence locker with refrigerated component and drying cabinet as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda is the consideration and approval of on-street parking for Midtown mixed-use project in the northeast section of University and Montgomery Street. Discussion.
Just have a question for the city engineer. This is the same as what has been pulled through the design review committee that has been tentatively okayed. I know there was some issue concerning potentially looking at people coming ingress and egress, and has that been satisfied?
We had our, thank you, Alderman. We had our development review meeting last Thursday on this. We had previously reviewed it a few weeks back as a preliminary review, and the site plan is still a little bit in a state of flux. I think we're getting pretty close on it, but the site plan has not been finally approved at this point. I do think we're pretty close on it. I don't anticipate the access point on Montgomery changing really that dramatically. I don't really know where else it would move to based on that site and its topographic conditions. So, yeah, this was shown in the plan that we reviewed last Thursday, and of course, any improvements in the right-of-way that are going to be dedicated to the city as public infrastructure, we recommended that the applicant bring those to the board like we have been doing on Russell Street and other places. So that's the
Would
reason
it
for the
give you
request.
greater comfort to add to a motion to pass this, subject to the approval of the city engineer, just to make clear that you have to analyze and determine that it's not going to affect the ingress and egress?
That would be fine. I would suggest, Mayor, instead maybe make it contingent on the Development Review Committee, because there's other entities involved in that, planning, police, who also look at parking and that type of thing. So if you wanted to add that as an extra condition.
Mr. Mayor, I move approval.
Motion has been made by Alderman Walker to approve of on-street parking for the Midtown Mixed-Use Project at the northeast intersection of University Drive and Montgomery Street as presented. Alderman Walker, is that your motion?
Yes.
Do we hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Little. Alderman Walker, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, I think this is going to be a project that is going to get a lot of, it's going to be a lot of, people are going to notice it, because that intersection is going to dramatically change, and that is going to give people most likely a little bit of heartburn. But I believe the long-term prospects for the reviving of what is Midtown, to be able to make that an active place that links the downtown to the Cotton District and then to the university, is showing that Starkville is not business unfriendly. That Starkville is a city that is looking to think about what the next 50 years look like, not what the last 50 years look like. And that we are trying to put ourselves in a position to be able to recruit business. We're trying to put ourselves in a position to be able to recruit students. We're trying to put ourselves in a position to be able to recruit residents to want to come live in the city of Starkville. And that downtown corridor, we are seeing tremendous amount of growth. I think it looks at the leadership and the progression of finally having real planning, of having a real vision, a real plan for what it looks like to build a city in the 21st century in Mississippi. We are long overdue. We are long overdue for good comprehensive planning, good form-based codes that are going to make our city more walkable, that make our city more livable, and it gives every citizen the opportunity to be able to walk up and down the street, to go get an ice cream cone, or go to the lawyer's office, or go anywhere else and have an active lifestyle. This is a huge step in the right direction. We are not business unfriendly. We are trying to find a way to make ourselves the preeminent destination in the Golden Triangle, and very much so in central Mississippi. So while this project is going to, no question, raise people's eyebrows, because there's going to be some demolition. You are going to see things that have been in Starkville a really long time, and it's going to be hard to watch some of that go. But you have to believe that better things are coming. Better things are coming that are going to put us in a position to be economically competitive as we move forward. So I'm looking forward for this project to actually go through. Having on-street parking is a great thing. It helps slow traffic down. It creates a sense of you actually have a street and not a highway. Too many of our roads are function like highways, and they don't need to. They need to function like a local road that gives a pedestrian and a car the same equal footing, and this is a step in the right direction. So I'm anxiously waiting for this and other projects that are happening along the corridor to break ground and get started. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay.
Nay.
By a vote of 5 in favor with 1 against, and I have Perkins casting the lone dissenting vote, the motion passes. The next matter on the agenda is an update on the Starkville Police Department renovation.
Honorable Mayor, distinguished Vice Mayor, members of the board, I stand before you to give you an update on the renovations of the Starkville Police Department. A handout that was just given to you by Corporal Lovelady is what's being displayed. Once again, I won't go through and read everything. I'll pretty much summarize it, and I'll show a video. We went through this time and videoed it, the progress, instead of taking still photos. But they're starting to put the air conditioning units in on the first floor, and putting up walls, sheetrock, stuff like that. And they've also started to work on the exterior of the building. Go ahead and put the video on. Stop. Okay, what Corporal Lovelady did was put on a which is a camera on his helmet, and he went through from the front door, which is what you're going to be looking at in just a second, and he put the captions down at the bottom of the things that you're going to be seeing, and hopefully this will give you a visual of what's going on inside this building right now. Okay, right now what you're looking at, if you come through the front doors of that building, to the right where the city clerk's office used to be at is where those three windows are. Those are going to be dispatch windows as well as the records clerks. Okay, those windows are bullet resistant, bulletproof, and the walls are bullet resistance around those windows. So, go ahead. That's walking in. That's looking from the front door. Stop. Gotta be a little faster. Okay, right there. That's looking straight down the hall into the briefing room, which used to be the stage. It still is the stage, but we made that into our big briefing room. So if you're looking straight down the hall, when you walk in the doors, that's what you're going to be looking at. Stop. Good. All right, that's going to be the community room to your left right there. Of course, that'll be open to the public. They'll be able to rent, not rent, but to book this room to have any kind of civic meeting that we deem necessary. To the right there, it's going to be a bathroom. To the left, are you going to go to the left? No. Okay. To the left, what you just passed was, it's going to be like a sitting area. Also, there are going to be some vending machines out there. So if you want to come into the police department, and if you want to wait on somebody to see somebody, you can wait in that sitting area, as well as going to be vending machines. Now, this is going on into the community room, which used to be, of course, the chief's office, the chief secretary, and about 3 other officers on the right side there. Now it's just one big room. As you can see, the progress that's going on in there. All right, once again, this is from the front doors, walking straight into the building, looking down the main hallway. Okay, that's it. Right there on the left, that's the elevator. On the right there, those are just office spaces. Okay, to the left right here, that's where we're going to be coming in. We have prisoners from the parking lot right there. To the left, I mean, if you're coming in, that room that's on our right as we're looking, but on the left, if you're walking in, that's going to be one of the holding cells right there. Go ahead.
That's where the prisoners or the suspects or anybody will come in from that parking lot side?
Right. We won't hold anybody past 6 hours, but we'll bring them in, we'll process them in that area right there.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what's the other side? That's the other side of the hallway, which is just more office spaces. No, that's straight on down the hallway. Yeah, that's the other side, which is just other office spaces. And the one thing about where you're standing at right now, if anything ever happens in that police department, if you stand right there, you can look at every exit and entrance to that police department. So you can pretty much guard that whole building standing right there if something ever happened. Just more office space. It's going back toward the briefing room, which is going to be also our roll call. Of course, that's glass. Stop right there. That's glass where you'll be able to see into this big, beautiful room. When you walk into the doors, you'll be able to see that room lit up. And of course, that's the original stage. They're going to redo that floor, the original floor of that. So it'll be brought back to life. That's just looking down in front of the stage to the left. What you're going to have on to the left, if you walk on down, on the left, it's going to be like a roll call, a shower area, as well as lockers in there. To the right, on down at the end of the hall, you can gain access to the stage, which is also the briefing room, and there's also a little exercise room down there. Not too big, but we'll make it work. All right, these are offices off the main hallway again. Okay, go back just a little bit. Okay, just a little bit.
Back and forth.
Back, I want to see that whole door frame. Okay, if you look at that door frame right there, you notice it's got what you call a skylight or whatever, not a skylight, but that window right there. That's one of the change orders we had. I think that was one of the first change orders we had. So now when the door is closed, you'll still be able to look into every office. And with that building, some of the offices don't have windows. So if you're across the hall from an office with a window, then you'll be able to get some of that sunlight through those windows. That was the purpose of me wanting those. So that was one of the first change orders we had. Just some more office spaces. Okay, that's the actual stage area, which is going to be the roll call briefing area. If you notice to your left upstairs on the second floor, that's going to be the upstairs is admin as well as most of the detectives. So what you're looking at is going to be some of the detectives' offices as well as the upstairs briefing room. Now, when I saw this the other day, I'm like, what a waste to put sheetrock across all of that and not be able to look down up in there. So just so happened we found two windows that we weren't going to use anymore, two big solid windows. So if we can find the money, that's going to be a change order. I give you warning. We're going to put those two big windows up in the break room so you'll be able to look down into the roll call room. And when you see those lights on the bottom right there to your left, that'll be looking back toward the front door if you were standing directly in front of it. Okay, this is the second floor. This is coming around by the chief's office to your left. Of course, you can see they're still in the early part with the metal framing and everything. They haven't put a lot of sheetrock up, but it's definitely starting to look like an office building. And most of those offices right there are going to be occupied by the detective division. And correct me if I'm wrong, Corporal Lovelady, but that stairway right there, is that the one over by the mayor's old office, or is it the opposite side?
Yes, sir, that's gonna be the one in the northeast side, right there. Northeast side, the rear, gonna be a rear stairwell.
Where the mayor's office used to be at?
Yes, sir, just farther back a little bit.
Yeah. The mayor's office would actually been down those little spiral stairways on your left right there. What else? That's it? Okay, that's the progression. As I said, I've given you a sheet. If you want me to explain anything on here, I'll definitely try.
Excellent job, Chief. Questions or comments for the Chief?
Mayor, comment. Chief, that looks very good. Of course, we know that the anticipated completion date is May 20th, 2017, but if they're not completed, let's just let them get completed. before we move in, because we want everything to be completely polished, high maintenance, high quality, high premium. So we want them to make sure when they leave, everything's like we want it. So they may be a few days behind that, and you know, the park and all that may be a little bit behind because of inclement weather. We just can wait just another little bit of time, whatever may be necessary. That'd be great. But I'm very impressed with how it's coming along, and I say that because I've seen a lot of other buildings during my almost 24 years come up, and this side is really taking shape on it. And so, weather is from all indications very reputable company from all the information that has been made available to us. So that is really coming in. And the last thing I want to say, I have not been in the past very supportive of change orders, but I'm very supportive of these change orders because we have a long history of trying to get where we are now. So I'm going to support your recommendation.
Thank you so much.
I may have questions, but I'm going to support the recommendations. Also, we need to make sure that we have everything that we want to, because if we accept this building, it's going to take more than an act of Congress to get another dollar to have any kind of change. So let's just wait, don't move in until my recommendation, until we get everything fully completed, maybe June the 20th, but we're going to get there. So we
Yes,
want
sir.
to, and Mr. Kemp, I'm sure going to work with you how they do it to get that parking lot. Mr. Kemp, you listening, Mr. Kemp? We're going to get the parking lot all patched, overlaid and striped, with some good premium asphalt. We don't know that cheap stuff. So we want some good stuff. Make sure they all know that. So it's going to be a great job. Mr. Mayor, you have the floor.
Any further questions or comments from the members of the board?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Mr. Kemp, if you find that premium asphalt, make sure they're putting it on the roads too.
I need some.
All right, the next matter before you is a consideration of the advanced collision repair building project request. Discussion.
Thank you so much. Mr. Sanders, will you come forward for me? And Mr. Russell Winston, I noticed that you're here. Will you please come forward? Mr. Winston, that building that you are renovating, the old Kia dealership, I cannot tell you how many times that I've had people to say, why don't they use that for something? Now everyone, I think, is excited that something will soon be there. Tonight you're asking us for a waiver request, and I want to commend you for doing that, and I thank you so much, and I'm going to be reading the motion for that. Mr. Sanders, thank you so much for your assistance as it relates to this matters in my ward. And I want to say thank you so much when I came to you and your personnel. Thank you so much for getting the documents together for me and putting them on the agenda for me last week when we got those from Mr. Winston. Okay. Mayor, with that having been said, there are no questions from the members of the board or the vice mayor. I'd like to go ahead and proceed with my motion. Move to direct the staff to require facade standards to be met only on the portions of the advanced auto collision renovation project which are visible from Highway 12 based upon a finding of fact that the objective of the facade ordinance will have been met when portions of the building visible from Highway 12 have been brought into compliance. I have that reduced to writing, and I'll pass it down.
Motion has been made, it's been read and reduced to writing without objection. I will not ask for it to be reread. Seeing none, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Little. Alderman Nguyen, do you wish to speak on the
No, I
merits?
do not, other than to say thank you so much.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. And we have been here a little over an hour. I think some of these next items may have some lengthy discussion, so without objection, I'm going to take us into brief recess. Seeing none, moving into brief recess. Sir. This meeting of the Starkville Board of Aldermen will now come back to order. And the next matter before you is a consideration of VA 1706. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of VA 1706, request for variance from the existing lot dimensions, existing lot size, and side setback requirements for the proposed addition at 413 McKee Street in an R2 zone with a parent parcel number 102B-00-096.00 as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter before you. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of RZ 1704, a request to rezone one lot located at 114 Mill Street from R2 to T4 with the property number 101D-00-322.00 as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the matter?
No, sir.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda is motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of a certificate of appropriateness for a proposed addition located at 508 Greensboro Street with one condition as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits? Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda, motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of travel to Tuscaloosa, Alabama for Daniel Haviland and Emily Corbin to meet the City of Tuscaloosa's Community Development Department regarding billboard regulations with a cost not to exceed $125 as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda is motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of travel and training for Buddy Sanders to attend the International Economic Development Council Elective Neighborhood Development Strategies class June 15th and 16th with a cost not to exceed $900 as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to accept the low quote from Lee's Precast in the amount of $6,600 for 2 inlet boxes for the Country Club Estates drainage project to be paid from discretionary funds and authorize the city engineer to purchase said inlet boxes as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda, motion has been made by Alderman Little to accept the low quote from Forterra Pipe and Precast in the amount of $12,554.08 for a 58 by 36 arch RCP for the Country Club Estates drainage project to be paid from Ward 3 discretionary funds and authorization for the city engineer to purchase 176 linear feet of said pipe as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda, motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of the City of Starkville claims docket for all departments, including the Starkville Utilities Department as of December 22nd, 2016 for fiscal year ending September 30th, 2017 as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. All those opposed, please signify by raising your hand. By a vote of 4 in favor and 2 against, the motion passes. The next matter on the agenda is request. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of consideration of the city clerk's office having made reservations for 8 rooms for the Mississippi Municipal League Conference to be held July 24th through 26th, 2017 in Biloxi at the Beau Rivage as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any? Alderman Perkins.
Mr. Mayor, we certainly appreciate the city clerk / finance director taking care of the city's business, and I guess it would be presumptuous, Honorable Director, that the 8 rooms is 1 for each alderman and 1 for the mayor. So I just want to take this opportunity, and I'm going to vote against this because I want the taxpayers of this city to know that I don't need a room and I'm not going to no Beau Rivage. There's some very high quality and very expensive rooms, and I don't need them paying for a room for me. So, but if we want to amend that to 7, I'll vote for this. Mayor, I'm not going, so I'll be here in July. I know that's for sure. So can we just amend that to just say 7? And
Without objection, it will be 7 rooms.
Okay. Right, and I support that, Mr. Mayor.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The next matter on the agenda is a request for permission for Chief Charles Yarborough to attend the 80th. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of Charles Yarborough attending the 80th Mississippi Fire Chiefs Conference on June the 2nd through 4th, 2017 at the Vicksburg Convention Center in Vicksburg, Mississippi, with advanced travel for an approximate cost of $350 as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion? Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda is request for approval of the lowest quote in the amount of 14. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to approve of the lowest quote in the amount of $14,580 for 2 Cisco switches and related equipment required for the new police building data network as presented. Alderman Little, is that your motion?
It is.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The next matter on the agenda is a report from Herman Peters, Director of Parks and Recreation, on a proposed inclement weather policy.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board.
Thank you.
This policy is something we've been following, but it hasn't been written down. But the Comprehensive Plan Act for it to be wrote and approved by the board. Everyone have a copy of it, and I can put it up on the screen if you need me to read over it. I can, but it's a basic policy of, we know if with lightning strike, we have to wait 30 minutes before we start any activity. It could be 29 minutes and 58 seconds. If it strike again, we have to start all over again with the 30-minute policy. Also, same as with the swimming pool. But it goes into detail on there in case of severe weather and also with the pool, with our pool. But this policy here, something that we need to, according to the comprehensive plan, adopt, so we can have it in writing in case someone asks, well, it's lightning and you said we got to stop. Is it in writing anywhere? So we'll have it in writing.
And are you asking the board to approve this policy tonight?
Please, if they have a chance to look over it.
Discussion.
Do we have it ready for writing?
It's in the
Same
packet.
one that's in our packet? Okay. Move approval.
Motion has been made by Alderman Carver to approve of the Parks and Recreation inclement weather policy as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, and I didn't see the splash pad is in there. Is it in there as well? Same policy?
It says approved.
Okay. Thank you.
But I can go back and add it if it need to be specific splash pad.
Second.
Oh, did I not get a second? I'm sorry. Motion has been made by Alderman Carver. It's been seconded by Alderman Little. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter before you is a report from Trent Helms, Maintenance Director of Starkville Parks and Recreation.
Trent has been with us for 60 days, and he's going to come to us with what he has done in those 60 days and some long-range plans and goals. None of this we have not talked to the Human Resource Director about any of these positions, anything he's want to talk about, but it is a plan that he would like to see for us go forth with the maintenance department.
Good evening. Thank you all for having me. I'm Trent Helms, and I'd like to thank the board and the director, Peters, and personnel director for giving me this opportunity to fill this position as the Director of maintenance with the Park and Rec. Like Herman said, I've been there 60 days. We got a lot to do. I mean, me and the guys have been working hard to try to head in the right direction. I'm proud of Starkville. I'm proud of the city that I live in. I know all of you are also, and I want everybody to be as proud of our park system as we are in our city. So we've got some things we're working on. Mr. Peters passed out a kind of a little flow chart there of what the current organizational chart is for the Park and Rec, which is not complete yet. The director of maintenance side is complete with the hiring of me. But being in and looking and seeing kind of some of the problems that we have, I think we've been robbing from Peter the pay Paul in a couple of areas, and me having being in the private sector, landscape maintenance for such a long time. We have sports fields, and we have landscape maintenance, and we have facility maintenance. And so one doesn't take the back seat to the other. What I've seen is that we have some guys with a lot of knowledge in sports fields, that if they focus on sports fields, that we could really have some nice sport fields in the city. We have some nice facilities, and we have a facility supervisor, and if he could focus on facilities, we could have some nice facilities in the city. We have some dated facilities, Moncrief Park, there's some areas, Needmore Center, that really take a lot of time for us going on a daily basis and working to just kind of keep those properties afloat. What we need is we need to cut out some of our contract labor that we're using, some of our outside subs and vendors that we use, and do all of our landscape in-house. Change all of our seasonal color, do all of our mulch, and do all of our fertilization, do all of our tree maintenance, any capital improvement projects that we need, drainage, irrigation. McKee Park has some deteriorating drainage issues that need to be looked at. The landscape division could do all of those things. We wouldn't have to worry about taking bids from outside sources to do those things. So just me getting in and looking at that right out the gate, that's kind of what I see looking. The mayor came down to our maintenance shop and met with me and kind of asked me some of our needs as far as equipment and things. There's a equipment list on the back page here that are almost must-have things. We need a tractor with a front-end loader. I brought mine and used it to load red field, to put on the ball fields, to move gravel to Patriots Park in the gravel parking lot, to fill some of the potholes at the maintenance shop that we have there at the maintenance shop. So that's a must. Trimming shrubs, moving gravel, moving field, doing things. We need a dump trailer. These are things that, for us to get to the next level and get where I think the board wants us to be, there's things that we're going to have to do our job properly. A new truck. We have a couple of new trucks that are nice trucks. But to be able to be in different areas, we probably need one more new truck. It'd be nice to have a 4-wheel drive truck. So when we hook up to a trailer like we did this weekend at the ball fields at the Sportsplex, from the trash, we don't spin wheels trying to pull the trailer out to get it hauled off. So the little things. We've implemented a work order process. I'm one of those guys that when somebody shoots me a text with a problem, I want to fix it then. So when it's in my face, I want to take care of it. So we've implemented a work order process so I don't have to stress out all the time about trying to do everything in 1 week when realistically it's going to take 6 months, because that's just the way my brain operates. So we're started to implement a work order program where we do work orders. I'm a paper kind of guy. So we're doing paper work orders that's going to be moved over into a program that some of the city, I've talked to Mr. Kemp and Russell at the electric department, and they're helping me try to get some things implemented. So I think that'll keep us from dropping the ball on things. So we kind of know what's been taken care of. It's documented. Somebody has a complaint, we get it fixed. It's dated. It's documented. We can pull. So it keeps us from dropping the ball on things. But Curb appeal's big, you know, people pull up to the Sportsplex. I mean, we want to start putting fresh paint on things, fresh paint on bathroom doors, handrails, cleaning the carpet. They're coming to clean the carpet in the Sportsplex on the 13th. So we've got a lot of things going. We have roof leaks that we have to fix. So there's a lot of moving parts. This job that I took is a huge job. I mean, it's 147 acres of parks, and it's a lot of dated facilities that need a lot of work. We have a pool that I swam in. I'm 45. I swam in as a child. Same parking lot, same block building. So there's a lot of things that I know that y'all are going to figure out about how we can improve things. If you get it built, I'll take care of it. So, just introducing myself to you. There's this structure thing here. I think it kind of speaks for itself. We have your proposal was for your new organizational chart, had us with 8 full-time people in here. Just to give you a short run of it, we have a field supervisor who is Bruce Harris. Under him, the proposed organizational chart has 4 full-time maintenance workers. We currently have 2, and we currently have 2 part-time. And they have a lot of knowledge and getting, in sports field stuff. So, I mean, if they can just do sports field stuff, they'll be good to go. We got 2 full-times, 2 part-times. I'd like to get rid of one of those part-time guys and hire a full-time guy to give them 3 full-time employees under Bruce, and them just do sports field. Straight lines, I want straight lines on chalk. I want straight lines on infield grass. I mean, I want flagpoles painted. I want the nets fixed. All those things, if they can focus on those things, then they can get them done. I feel 100% confident that they can. So if you look at this thing and look at total numbers on full-time employees versus part-time employees, it's not asking for a whole lot. I think it's maybe 1 full-time and maybe another part-time, or getting rid of a couple part-times. Janitorial services, we got 3 part-time people at the Outlaw Center. They pick up trash at the Sportsplex, McKee Park, and they clean the windows. They're responsible for cleaning the windows, the carpet, vacuuming, keeping the hardwood floors on the racquetball court clean, basketball courts, etc. It would be awesome to have 1 full-time person at least that's there all the time, that when something comes up, something gets spilled, something needs done, trash needs taken out, that full-time person could do that. We'd be willing to get rid of a part-time person, at least 1 part-time person, and get 1 full-time in their place. It's there all the time. I mean, I'm mopping floors. We have a roof leak. I'm mopping the racquetball. I mean, I don't mind working, and I'm doing it now. But to continue to get where we want to be, we're going to need some people who are there on a full-time basis.
You're suggesting in the janitorial 1 full-time and then 2 part-time?
Correct. Right now we have 3 part-times, and I would like to get rid of 1 part-time, and I would like to hire 1 full-time. And I'm saying that's what I would like to do. I mean, this is my perfect world on what I think we need to make things go the way that y'all want it to go, and I think the citizens want things to go. Would be to hire 1 full-time person there and let 1 of the part-times go.
Do you think we have competent staff within those 3 that somebody that could handle that job?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. With training anything, I mean, the people who have weaknesses in our department, I'm working, and I have some of them too. I mean, I have my own weaknesses. But the people who have weaknesses, I use some pretty good psychology with people to try to bring their strengths out. So initiative is big. I mean, you take the initiative, hard work pays off, I promise it does. And I think they're starting to feed on that. And if they want the full-time, and I've told everybody who's part-time, if the spots come up and I can get it to where there's a full-time spot, somebody's got to show me that they want that full-time spot. I'm not going to recommend handing out any spots. It's the people who's going to do the best for the city and for Parks and Recs. I mean, because I don't want to have people on my team that's making me do all the work. I mean, I didn't take the job to do all the work. I mean, just cause I can do all the work and I'm willing to get out there and hump it, doesn't mean I should have to. So, I want a team that's willing to have my back, and I'll have theirs. I'll go to bat for them every time. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm glad to be here. I was 15 years in fire service. Chief Yarborough, one of the greatest bosses I've ever had. Herman has been great. You know, I'm excited about this new opportunity in my life. So, but you know, I got a lot of pride, man. I don't want to fail at anything. And when I leave here in 5 or 6 years, or ever how long it may be, I want people talking about, hey, that dude that was the park director of maintenance. I mean, he made it happen. I mean, he did a good job. So, but appreciate y'all's time.
Yes, ma'am.
Alderman Vaughn.
I like your style.
Thank you.
Yes, I do. I like that.
I just want to say thank you. I think this, the result of the comprehensive plan that specifically stated that we need your position, I hope everybody up here and everybody in the community is going to realize that we had to have you, and I think we made a really good choice. I am hoping that 6 months from now, that you're not out there having to hump it as hard and doing all the physical work, because we need you directing and doing things. And I will say, for me, I think absolutely we know where the deficiencies are, and that's what I think the first thing that we were hoping that you would do is help us, you know, put a little bit of a bow on what we know the issues are, and how do we really what do you need. Because the number one thing that the comprehensive plan said that was the biggest problem in our park system was lack of maintenance. And really able to come in these first couple or 3 months and identify what the real problems are and what you need to get us going in the right direction. I believe that everybody up here is listening. And that we are, you know, I believe that the city is committed to doing all we can and as much as we can midway through this budget year, and whoever sits in these seats going forward, hopefully they're going to be committed, and hopefully we're going to be looking for partners to be committed with us to making our park system the envy of central Mississippi and north central Mississippi, because we have the capability of doing that. I was there at a tournament this weekend with Travel Ball, and I will say that the fields themselves are in really good shape, as good as they've been in years. Now, the facilities around the fields, that's a little bit of a different story. And we know that's things that we have to work on to improve. And, you know, nobody's expecting that improvement to happen overnight. We have to have a serious infusion of capital to make some things happen. And we have to put ourselves in a position to be able to do that. And so I'm hopeful that we're going to be able to help you with some people and some resources that you need to make your job a little bit easier. So thank you very much, and I appreciate the hard work and the dedication and the vision for having a plan and trying to figure out how you implement that plan. So I appreciate that.
Alderman Webb.
Thank you so much. Mr. Hams, I'm
Yes,
going to
ma'am.
share something with the mayor, the vice mayor, and members of the board. This morning, one of my constituents called me. She had gone walking in McKee Park. She called me about something that was nothing major. It was just something small. I contacted Mr. Peters. He called me back in less than 10 minutes and told me that Mr. Trent Helms had taken care of it. She was still walking and called me back. She says, Alderman, that's the kind of service that I like. I want to say thank you so much for getting on top of it, so I know you're a man of your word based on what you did this morning. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your leadership. Mr. Helms, when I make a call to a department head, it's not to drink coffee. So Mr. Peters knew when I was calling him this morning, shortly after 8, I needed something. So I want to say thank you so much for what you did this morning.
You're welcome.
I yield the floor.
Alderman Carver, did you have your hand raised?
I was going to say, regardless of what happens on your request for materials and request for equipment, you know, this org chart I think has to change. I think the span of control here is pretty much too vast for one person. I think the way this proposed org chart is set up is pretty good. It delegates authority well. It breaks down the chain of command. I would say, just personally, friend to friend, don't lose that fire. Could be a whole different board sitting up here for the next 4 to 8 years, however long you can stay with us, and just, you know, stay tenacious. And I know from just seeing what you've done on your personal side of landscaping, you know you can do it. So I know you and I have already talked about that, but just maybe don't get disheartened if you can't get everything on this list on the first try. That's local government, but you know, we'll get you what we can. And you and I spoke a lot of times already. I think you've got an eye for not OCD, but you see what's wrong, and you see the little things that you and I standing out on the field and notice, yeah, we know it, we just can't get to it all. So you've got some work to do. We know that off the first year is going to be your toughest years. And then I guess the small things like the weed eaters and the blowers and an edger and a toolbox. And if that's something, I would encourage you to maybe put on the next couple agendas, something we can maybe help you out with just to get started. I mean, if that's something you need, I assume those are immediate requests. I don't know about a X mark and they're expensive, but try to maybe put some of that out there and see if we'll support you.
Right. Those seem like little things, but I mean, they're just what popped right in my face when I first looked
Sure.
to get them. So, I mean, even if you got toolboxes on there, it's something that simple. There's nothing worse than getting off a truck, needing to fix something, and you don't have the proper tools. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, might recognize.
I've got Little, then I'll have Perkins. Oh, Alderman Perkins.
Just want to say, Mr. Helms, I pay very close attention to every word out your mouth. I like your passion, your commitment, and your dedication. We need more employees in our city like that, and you have my full support. We need to make these things happen. We've been talking about having a first-class park, and it is my opinion that you are the right person to be that director of maintenance. We need to give you that proper staff as expeditiously as we can. We need to give you these things that that you're asking for. We cannot have this first-class park system unless we are willing to make that step. And you have some very fervent passion. You have a very sincere commitment. And I tell you, if we just give you some things to work with and some men to work with, and I tell you, you have some very impressive goals. You know, we really need more people like you in the workforce. I mean, some people may get mad with me because I said it, but I said it. And I knew what I said, and I meant what I said. So we need to do that. Honorable Director, whoever's this budget chair and on this next board, and whoever's the next mayor, you know, we're gonna have 1 or 3 people running, but whoever that next mayor, the city of Starkville, I'm gonna be pushing for you to have some, and whoever's at this table, the director gonna remember that if that we need some money to get these things like Alderman Carver said, like the weed eater, all these things here, we can get that stuff now. The blowers, you know, it's getting, you know, people getting ready to play that soccer and all these sports things. We got to have somebody to keep the building clean. We need to get somebody real quick. You know, you need your full-time person, and you can't do all these things. You got to supervise, and I tell you, you just keep doing what you're doing. I tell you, you know, people are going to be coming to Stark as opposed to going to Tupelo. And but thank you for all that, and I appreciate all the city employees. But I like this drive. You have some very unique passion that we don't see here on any basis. But just keep doing what you're doing, and we appreciate you. You have my full support. The director gonna remember that I said that. We need to get these things because when this next board get here, it's gonna be time to adopt the budget. And we got to have these things in place. And you have my support. And Mr. Peters, you make sure you bring him back here again soon. I need to hear from him some more. Mr. Mayor, you have the floor, okay?
Any further discussion? Alderman Carter.
I say too, just from an equipment standpoint, I encourage both of y'all to shop local. I know we've got one small maintenance repair place on Lynn Lane. Doesn't have to be them. That's the closest. Just somebody in Starkville. I keep hearing, you know, of equipment getting maintenance, guys having to run stuff back and forth to Columbus and other cities. But just to find somebody here in town, that's part of our duty too as a board. But just to find somebody shop local and get something. If the mower breaks down, we can have something else.
We address that. So I mean, I'm passionate about Starkville, so we've talked about that and taken care of that. As much business as we can do in Starkville, we're going to do in Starkville. That's just we've already addressed all that.
Alderman Wynn.
Mayor, Mr. Peters, will you stand up, please? If you will, please review your budget, and if the money's in there for all of these items, bring it back to the board by the 18th, and I'll be the first to support it. Thank you. I yield the floor.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Saying none. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
The next matter before you is a request for authorization to advertise for bids for remote lighting control systems suitable for control of remote equipment using a nationwide communication network for McKee Park and the Sportsplex facilities. This is the Control Link lighting system. It is an item that will exceed $50,000. That means it has to go through a full bidding process. Discussion.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Walker to approve the advertisement for bids for remote lighting control systems suitable for control of remote equipment using a nationwide communication network for McKee Park and the Sportsplex facilities as presented. Alderman Walker, is that your motion?
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Walker, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The next matter on the agenda is a request for authorization to advertise to fill 2 vacant positions.
moved.
Was it Carver?
Yes, sir.
Motion has been made by Alderman Carver to authorize the authorize the advertisement to fill 2 vacant positions of a maintenance worker 1 in the street department as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter before you.
So moved.
Motion has been made by Alderman Carver to adopt the job description for an equipment operator 1 position and authorize the advertisement to fill the vacant position of equipment operator 1 position in the Starkville Utilities Department, New Construction Rehab Division as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The next matter on the agenda is motion has been made by Alderman Carver to approve the hire of Jerry Logan as the Director of Recreation and Sports in the Starkville Park and Recreation Department as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The next matter on the
So
agenda,
moved.
motion has been made by Alderman Carver to authorize the advertisement to fill the vacant position of Equipment Operator 1 in the Landfill Division of the Sanitation and Environmental Services Department as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda is a request for authorization to advertise to fill the vacant position.
So moved.
Alderman Carver's made a motion to authorize the advertisement to fill the vacant position of maintenance worker in the landfill division of the Sanitation and Environmental Services Department as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. Next matter on the agenda,
So moved.
motion has been made by Alderman Carver to authorize the submittal of an application with the Department of Environmental Quality for a solid waste assistance grant to be used for the city's recycling program and authorize the mayor to sign said grant as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The next matter on the
So
agenda is
moved.
Alderman Carver's made a motion to authorize travel for Cap Riley to attend the Class 1 Rubbish Landfill Certification Training in Jackson, Mississippi on April 26th through 27th, 2017, with advanced travel not to exceed $267 as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
The motion has been seconded by Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the merits?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. The next matter on the agenda is request for authorization for Terry Kemp.
So moved.
Alderman Carver's made a motion to authorize Terry Kemp to attend the Tennessee Valley Public Power Association Annual Board of Directors Meeting and Conference in Savannah, Georgia, May 22nd through 24th, 2017, at a cost not to exceed $2,500 as presented. Alderman Carver, is that your motion?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Well, I know I heard Alderman Vaughn. Have a motion been seconded by Alderman Vaughn. Alderman Carver, do you wish to speak on the matter?
No, sir.
Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. Motion clearly passes. That exhausts our open agenda. I am aware of no executive session items, therefore a motion to recess is in order. Motion has been made by Alderman Little to recess until April 18th, 2017 at 5:30 in the courtroom at 110 West Main Street. Alderman Little, that's the motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's been seconded by Alderman Vaughn. Alderman Little, do you wish to speak on the matter? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please signify by saying nay. We stand in recess.